for oneself or one's family or one's patron. Or in the case, as in the case of the 2G spectrum, it can be for all three: oneself, family, and patron. Corruption is clearly a failure of governance. Now it's obvious that the misuse cannot take place in a constitutional framework. And I have explained to you that constitution means transparency and accountability. Judging by the quantification that is available and my own assessment of the same, I would say that the extent and depth of corruption in India is today as never before in the history of India. And that this is the real question that we have to confront with. And I spoke about the tipping point. It is either we go towards a collapse or we will rectify the situation. All the indices of corruption, internationally accepted, show that India has been steadily falling in the ranks of nations. In the 178 nations to which the Transparency International has devised an index to measure the extent of corruption, India has been dropping steadily. Probably we are still ahead of Pakistan, like we are in cricket, but the fact of the matter is not that we are ahead of any of the countries which today lay claim to becoming a world power in the future. About 10 to 30% of the GDP today is generated in form of black money. And at the current prices, it would mean about 60,000 crores every year is generated in black money. Just 10% of this is sent abroad, incidentally. Not much of the remaining 90%, maybe it could be 15%. But the remaining is used in the country. And it is used in the country in a manner by which it distorts the entire economy. And I'll explain how. But even the money that went abroad, there was a time where you could only put it in the Swiss bank account, and the Swiss bank account used to charge you a service fee. You never got interest on it. So, since the last 10 years, our politicians in power have discovered ways by which this money can earn. And that is by devising financial derivatives by which they are able to earn. For example, you have money in Swiss bank accounts, you withdraw some of it, go to either US Fidelity Investments or to Morgan Stanley or to Goldman Sachs, and go to the counter and put that cash there and say, give me a participatory note. That is a device invented by the fertile brain of Indian politicians in power. And of course, after others come to power, they have not changed it because it's convenient for both. This participatory note will have just the amount and nothing else. Name not there. Source of funds not there. Nothing. You take that piece of paper, you come back and give it here to some of the mutual funds and tell them, trade in the stock market. A special law was passed by the government of India to exempt participatory notes from SEBI oversight. That is, SEBI could not call up and say, hey, where did you get all this money to buy so many stocks? And you can buy and sell stocks with it, and the Reserve Bank is committed to return it in foreign exchange if you ever want to take it out. Our financial crisis following the American financial crisis took place only because of this. Because our banks are still functioning much better than any banks in the world. in terms of regulations. But it is this movement of $60 billion in one blow, in 1 week, that caused the crisis in India. Today our stock market is rigged. It can be made to go up and come down. Every finance minister just gives a word. His budget is welcomed by the stock market. In fact, it is a rigged welcome. People earn huge amounts. The middle class loses. And it is because of this participatory note which you do not find anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world, you do not have participatory note.